Ragnar Lothbrok, born around the late 8th and early 9th centuries, was a legendary figure from Scandinavia. While his origins are shrouded in mystery and legends, it is believed that he was born somewhere in Norway or Denmark. Not much is known about his childhood, but it is believed that he grew up in a peasant family and showed great interest in the arts of war and navigation from a young age. He likely learned basic navigation and combat skills from his father and other Viking warriors in the region. Ragnar's story truly begins when he traveled to Norway to avenge the death of his grandfather, Sigurd, also known as the Blood-Swollen. Sigurd had been killed in a war against the self-proclaimed Swedish king Frodo. Ragnar led a vengeful expedition against Frodo, resulting in a great battle. Frodo was ultimately killed in combat, and Ragnar emerged as the victor. During the battle, a woman named Lagertha stood out as a skilled warrior. After the battle, everyone was amazed by Lagertha's ferocity and courage, as she fought like a man. Ragnar immediately fell in love with her, admiring not only her strength but also her sense of justice. However, Lagertha was not interested in Ragnar or any other man. To protect herself from unwanted admirers, she placed a bear and a dog to guard her home. Determined to win Lagertha over, Ragnar went to her house and killed the bear with a spear and strangled the dog to death. After that, he finally succeeded in marrying her, and they had 2 daughters, whose names have been lost, and a son named Friedleif. They lived in peace for 3 years until Ragnar decided to divorce Lagertha and marry Tora Borderjord, the daughter of the Swedish king Harald. To win Tora's hand, the king issued a challenge: whoever killed the viper that guarded Tora's house could marry his daughter. Ragnar then wore fur pants impregnated with pitch, allowing them to freeze and protect him from the snake, deceiving it and successfully killing it with his spear. The king saw his pants and, of course, found it amusing, giving him the nickname Lothbrok, which means hairy pants in Old Norse. Finally, Ragnar was able to marry Thora, and they had 2 sons. Ragnar also had a 3rd wife named Aslog. But before marrying her, Ragnar issued her a challenge: to present herself to him neither dressed nor undressed, neither hungry nor satisfied, neither alone nor accompanied. When Ragnar's men brought her to him, he was taken by great surprise as she arrived dressed in a fishing net, biting an onion, and with only a dog as a companion. Ragnar was impressed and enamored by her beauty and resourcefulness and asked her to marry him, but she refused until he completed his mission in Norway. Ultimately, Ragnar married Aslog, and they had several children, some of whom were very important figures, including Bjorn Ironside, Sigurd Snake in the Eye, and Ivar the Boneless, as well as 2 others named Ubba and Hvitserk. Ragnar quickly rose to prominence as a Viking leader, leading the first Viking incursions in England. His skills in warfare and navigation led to successful raids in England and France, including attacks on Paris and Spain. But Ragnar's rise was not easy. He had to face many challenges and difficult battles to consolidate his leadership. However, he persevered, building an advanced fleet of ships and forming alliances with other Viking leaders. The first raid led by Ragnar was a group of warriors attacking the monastery of Lindisfarne, an important Christian center on the east coast of England. This attack shocked the Christian world and marked the beginning of Viking invasions in England. Ragnar and his men continued to attack other areas of England, including the city of York, Northumbria, and Mercia. They captured cities, looted churches and monasteries, and took treasures and prisoners back to Scandinavia. With these raids, Ragnar not only enriched his tribe but also strengthened his reputation as a formidable and feared leader. Many young warriors joined his crew, eager to be part of the adventures and plunder. However, Ragnar's incursions also brought fierce reactions from the English, who united to repel the invaders. This resulted in many bloody battles and eventually Ragnar's defeat in a battle against King Ella of Northumbria in 865. Despite the defeat, Ragnar's fame only grew in Scandinavia, and his sons Bjorn, Ivar, Sigurd, Hvitserk, and Ubba continued his saga, leading Viking invasions in England and France for many years afterward. And of course, we will discuss each of them in future videos on this channel. There are various versions of how Ragnar Lothbrok died, and many of them are legendary or folkloric. However, the most common version is that Ragnar was captured by King Ella of Northumbria and thrown into a pit filled with venomous snakes as punishment for his invasions in England. According to legend, Ragnar is said to have recited a poem as he died, which included the following stanza: "I died because of the serpents, and now I shall go to the great hall of warriors. Do not weep for me, friends, death is inevitable for all." In addition to the most common version of Ragnar's death, there are other versions and legends that circulate around the subject. Some sources speculate that Ragnar died in battle, fighting against King Ella's brothers instead of being captured by them. Another legend claims that Ragnar did not die in a snake pit, but rather in a battle against King Eystein Belli of Sweden. Yet another version suggests that Ragnar faked his own death in order to test the loyalty of his sons and allies. He was said to have been buried alive but managed to escape and continue his life in secrecy. However, the story of Ragnar Lothbrok has been mainly transmitted through oral tradition and Icelandic sagas, which often blend historical facts with legends and myths. Therefore, it is difficult to determine the truthfulness of the accounts of Ragnar's conquests and achievements, as some of them may have been invented or exaggerated over time. Additionally, some historians believe that the figure of Ragnar may be a combination of several Viking leaders rather than a real historical person. Indeed, despite many of the stories and legends surrounding the life of Ragnar Lothbrok being challenging to verify, his legacy as a Viking leader is undeniable. He was one of the most famous and influential leaders of the Viking era and is remembered as a fearless and cunning warrior. Ragnar is often associated with the introduction of Viking attacks in England, and many of the stories surrounding his life recount his conquests in battle and incursions into foreign lands. He is frequently portrayed as a charismatic leader capable of inspiring loyalty in his followers and forging powerful alliances with other Viking leaders. Furthermore, Ragnar is remembered for his navigation skills and shipbuilding, which allowed the Vikings to sail the seas and rivers in search of new lands to conquer and explore. His expertise in navigation and shipbuilding is considered one of the main reasons why the Vikings were so successful in their raids and conquests. In summary, although many details of his life and deeds are difficult to verify, Ragnar Lothbrok's legacy as a Viking leader and influential historical figure is undeniable. Well friends, that wraps up another video in the Vikings series, and today we discussed the precursor to the rich Viking history. We hope you enjoyed our video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up to support the channel. Also, subscribe and turn on notifications, as we'll have more videos complementing this series. We sincerely appreciate your attention and support, and we'll see you in the next video. So, see you there.